So I recently had a call with an investment company, and I told this guy when I graduated because I asked, and immediately after I said that, he started talking down to me in this condescending tone and sort of this, oh, well, you don't really know what's going on. I've been doing this for so much longer than you have, so I have all the answers, and you're really just kind of a footnote on this whole thing on this call. And that really frustrated me, and it really just, I don't know, it just lit a little bit of a fire under me that I've had for a long time, but this reignited it. And this is what I wanted to talk about in this video, was just being a young entrepreneur and kind of the struggles that come with it and what I've done to mitigate either client concerns or kind of silence the haters, I guess, in a way. Because when you start your business and you go and you do this, especially if you're doing it alone, there'll be a lot of people who will criticize you. Maybe not to your face, but they'll ask you questions that just, they're trying to lead you to say a certain thing that they want to hear, such as like, oh yeah, it's been really hard to get clients, or it's been really hard to do X, Y, and Z. I think for a lot of people, it's because they just believe that there's a certain way that you need to look or be before you start your own business. And that's, hey, I worked for 2 decades under this tax firm, or I worked for 2 decades under this construction company. And that's really just not the case anymore. There's never been a time in human history where we've had so much access to information. It's never been easier to start your own business. And I just don't think that people have quite caught up to that yet. And as a young person, there will be people that will just talk down to you or discredit you for your age. And what I've done personally to mitigate that is, I have somebody who looks the part in the room with me. Having a partner that's great at that, and he's just on top of his shit. Like, he just knows this stuff. Having that voice in the room is awesome. The other thing is just be confident in what you know and be confident in what you don't know. If somebody asks me a question and I don't know it, I'm going to go ask my partner. I'm going to go to the internet, start doing some tax research about this kind of thing. I'm not going to pretend to know something that I don't. And when I do know something, hey, I'm very confident about it. This is what we can do for you in this scenario. And then my third kind of solution or way to fix this is similar to the second. It's just being confident. You gotta have confidence in yourself. Otherwise, people aren't going to trust you as a tax advisor or as a construction general contractor, whatever. You just got to be confident in your stuff, and you got to be able to help these people. Bonus point is if you can just pick up the phone and be super responsive. I think people love that. That's the main reason why we have people come to us. They just say, hey, like, my CPA never picks up the phone. They never respond to our emails. It's impossible to get a hold of them. Hey, guess what? I pick up the phone, I answer, I respond to emails. Easy win there. Another thing that comes with being a young entrepreneur, I'll say, is people just doubting you. Like, if starting your own business wasn't hard enough, there's just people who just don't want to see you succeed. And maybe not outright, but there is certainly people with a vested interest in not seeing you win. And I'll explain why, because that does sound crazy. Maybe they don't have like a monetary interest, but I think for a lot of people, especially when you're younger, it's kind of a weird thing to see your peer doing something that you think they shouldn't be doing, or you think that they're not qualified to do. So I'll explain. There's 2 kind of people that I'm thinking of. And the first one is that it's someone who's a competitive person who has always been, top their class, getting great grades in school, and has always been doing the best thing that they can be doing. And then after college, maybe they go to a big firm, just the more traditional route. But anyways, that's kind of the person I'm talking about, and the person that just kind of doubts that you can do it. They'll ask you all the questions. How are you going to get clients? How are you going to do this and that? They think they've got it all figured out, and because you're doing something different, then you're wrong, right? Basically is what they're trying to say. That's just not the case. And then, the second kind of person is older people who just think that you're young and stupid. Like, why are you trying to start this firm at 22, 23? Like, this is going to fail. You need some kind of backup plan, which is smart. Nobody wants to admit it. It's smart. But you need to work for a decade or 2 decades at this firm before you go out and start your own thing. Otherwise, you're going to fail, and it's going to be this huge mistake that you go and do this. And I disagree with both people. I think everybody's on their own timeline. For some people, it's better you go work at a firm for 10 years. For others, you can start right away. It's also just up to personal preference as far as risk and really what you want out of your career. Not saying one's better than the other. They're just different. A lot of days it'd be easier to work a 9 to 5, but then there's other days where it's easier to be a business owner. The flexibility, the greater earnings potential. There's more stress. For being honest, there's a lot more stress. There's a lot more responsibility, and just a lot more shit you got to figure out than working a 9 to 5, where a lot of this stuff is figured out. If you're a good employee, you work for your boss, you do all the things you're asked. You might even get a promotion, hell. But anyways, that's kind of the struggles of being a young entrepreneur that I've found throughout the last year. No, really 5 years being an entrepreneur. Not this business, but a bunch of different businesses. Yeah, I was talking to a podcast, what do you call that, guest the other day, and we're talking, man, we've had so many different businesses. It's just kind of trial and error till you find one that this is right for me and this is going to work and it's a good business. Rooting for any entrepreneur, of course, but especially young guys that are out here killing it. Shout out again, well, for the first time on this channel, to the guys that support other young entrepreneurs. I love giving cash discounts to my fellow young dudes who are starting businesses and maybe can't afford for the full advisory package. If you need your taxes done, I got them done for cheap for some of these guys. I don't know if I'll be doing that anymore because at this point we have just a lot of work. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and God bless you if you're a young entrepreneur.